perfect. Good morning, everyone. It's great to see you here for our student panel. I hope you're in good spirits today because we have some very exciting topics to cover. My name is Hanush Patera. I am the former president of the Aurora Student Council and current member of the CBS Aurora team. And the topics that we will cover today will be the European Students' Union and what it means for Aurora, together with the newly crafted student charter that the Student Council has been working on this academic year, and the connection between the Aurora Student Council and the local student boards at each of our respective partner universities. So yes, get ready, and I will start with the brief introductions of our lovely panelists right next to my right side. So first we have Simon Westhoff, a history student from VU Amsterdam and a member of the Aurora Student Council. Right next to him we have Mathilde, yours truly, the current president of the Aurora Student Council from UPEC and a master student of administration here at this very university. And then we have Simona from the University of Pavol, Jozef, Šafárik in Košice, and another Aurora Student Council member. And then last but not least, we have Sören Daehn from CBS, the vice president of the Aurora Student Council. So yes, thank you very much. And I would say we can start with the first introduction. I mentioned European Students' Union as one of our topics. I attended the first European Students' Union conference that was focused on EU alliances back in Coimbra in Portugal in December 2023. So this topic certainly brings back some memories. But I was wondering if maybe Mathilde, you can briefly talk about the European Students' Union and just what have you been doing with them in your term?
Okay, so the European Student Union is an umbrella organization. I think that now they have like 44 national student union and covered by like 40 countries all over Europe. And their main objective and goals are to represent and promote the educational, social, economic, and cultural interest of students within different body of the of Europe in general. They are lobbying for us at the European Union, at the Council of Europe, at UNESCO, and within the Bologna following group. So they are very representative, and they have 20 million students all over Europe, if we count them with regard of the National Union Association they are represented. And since 2 years now, so beginning with the first conferences that Anush followed, and with the second one that Simona, Simon, and I followed in Timișoara in Romania, they have created a special body for the Student Council of the European University. Because we are the one really represented all the European students, and it was very important for them of having a group discussion possible within the different student council. So if I have to talk a bit of my experience with like the second conferences held in Timișoara, those kinds of conferences are very, very important for us as a student. It is the only time in the year where we can meet with a student representative from different European universities. And as it's a new concept for everyone, the European University, it's also new for us of being a student representative within a council that represents European students. So it's really important for us to meet, to be able to exchange our good practices. How do we do in our council? How our students are elected? How can we represent well the students? And so it's a unique chance for us having the possibility of doing these conferences.
Thank you very much. You mentioned one thing that I would like to follow up upon, which was the Student Council for the European Students' Union. So how does that exactly work? Like, does every alliance then nominate someone for the Student Council, or are those people elected like within SU? Like, what's the process, and how is this body going to look like in the future?
We have to nominate 2 students per student council for representing us within the ESU team. Those 2 students for the Aurora Student Council is currently Simona and I, and as I will leave the Aurora Student Council soon, I'm gonna pass these seats to someone else after that. And we are working in a group in different topics, and as we have written Aurora Student Charter, we're gonna work mainly on written ESU Student Charter within those groups.
Okay, thank you very much. You did mention the second European Student Conference, which took place in Timișoara, Romania in 2024, if I'm not mistaken. And you briefly discussed your experience, but I would be curious to hear from everyone in this panel what their experience was, given that everyone comes from a different background, and for some it might be a more recent introduction to the world of student councils and alliances than others. So if we can start with Sören over there.
Yes, also for me that was actually my first experience within the ESO world, so to say. And for me what this ESO conference made it really stand out was just to have this opportunity to speak to student representatives from other alliances. And since the alliances are relatively new, we cannot go through the traditional, frameworks or procedures that we have to channel student engagement within our nations, within our local regions. So we face the same constraints per alliance and not necessarily per country there. And that's why it's really, really important to talk to other alliances rather than like national student unions on that issue. They do not necessarily have the same expertise as other alliances, and the ESO conference gave a really good framework there to really talk to the other alliances and exchange knowledge and best practices, and to really move forward when we face challenges. And this brings me to my second point, which is they are also kind of filling a structural gap. So the national student unions in the respective European countries are really focused on bringing together the local student unions and the local student councils within the country. But since they are represented in different alliances, the institutional challenges might differ. On the other hand, the local legislation is the same for, the local universities, but then in the different alliances context. So it's really important to have the opportunity to speak to the different representatives from the other alliances, maybe even within your country, to kind of see how do they respond to challenges, how can we also form a unified voice and be a stronger voice for students within our national and European context.
Thank you. Simona?
So for me, the same as Sören, it was my first experience in the ESU world, and for me it was just really inspiring how big the community was and how diverse all of the universities are that are represented within ESU. And for us, our goal was mainly to learn and share our best practices, and also share our experience with people who are in the same position as we are. And it was just so enriching to meet people with the same goal as us. Even though we were so different, we all strive for a better European education, and in this goal we can all collaborate together, as Aurora and all the alliances are all about connection. It was just really great experience, and I remember visibly like Mathilde coming to me during the conference with the idea for the Students' Right Charter. So it's just really inspiring to think like maybe if we haven't experienced this or shared the ideas, maybe the Students' Right Charter wouldn't be in our hands right now, like as we worked on it for the past year. So it really was a fuel for our efforts within this year's council.
Thank you very much. Simon?
Yes, so my experience is a bit different, or my perspective is a bit different, because I've not been to a ESU conference or convention yet, but I do know that from the Netherlands there's two unions represented, really. One is the ISO, which represents the student councils at each university, and the other is LSVB, which represents the student unions at each university. And often you see that a union, a council, you have the same goals, but there's different accents on it. And I think that also exemplifies why we can add so much to the ESU as well. Of course, the ESU is an older institution. It started in 1982, and it's deeply rooted in, as a historian, in the union movement. But because of that, they're also maybe more activist in nature and more caught up in the national context. Because, like the rest of the panel mentioned, these laws are different everywhere. But now that we're cooperating more on a transnational level, and now that the European Commission is also working on a blueprint towards a European degree, there's going to be transnational programs, and you're going to need transnational perspectives like Aurora's. I think that's all I have to add on that.
Thank you very much. It's really good to hear that you've had what it seems to be a fruitful experience in Timisoara. I remember that when I first went to the first ES2 conference for the EU alliances, it was the first time they invited representatives from all of the, at that time, I believe it was 50 EU alliances to one place, and it definitely wasn't without its challenges. And I think the best thing and the main point of the whole conference at that time was to bring together everyone for the first time and establish the network and establish the connections. But I'm wondering, since this was already the second conference, it's a year later, like, are there any specific goals or any specific like missions that the ES2 wants to achieve? Like, my question is then more or less, what exactly can ESU give to us? What can it provide to Aurora? Like, why pursue this further? I think, Simon, you kind of touched up on some of the initiatives already, so if you can start.
I mean, like Mathilde also mentioned already, they are the shortest line or the shortest road we can go into to also talk to the highest level policymakers. And also we can learn a lot from ESU in the way that, for example, they have built their alumni network, because sustainability is also about like long-term growth. So to be able to look back at Aurora in 10 years and see what all these students have done and what they're working on now. A lot of us will remain active in the education, like in the educational sphere. So I think, how they engage with their alumni is also something that we can learn from.
Thank you very much. Anyone else wants to add something? Yes, Mathilde?
I will probably say, in the other sense, why do we need ESU? Because during the conferences, most of our work was, they were trying to push us to determine something that we need the European Union to work on for us as a student council. So they were trying to get all of our feedbacks from how is working the council, the student council and everything, for after that creating a document to present it in front of the European Commission or the Bologna following process group, for example, and to try to have some answer to our question and to the fact that we need maybe a more structured framework for the student council within Alliance and everything. So I really do think it's more us that need ESU than ESU need us for sure, for having inputs and feedback from students directly, but we do need ESU for acting for us in front of bodies as the European Union, UNESCO and everything.
Thank you. So essentially, what I'm getting is that ESU has way more impact and direct power with the EU Commission and with the general EU representatives, since it's a large body that represents everyone and not just the local or just like the councils on the alliance level. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else want to add something to this question?
Maybe what I can add here, we see also a lot of cross-alliance collaboration recently, and I think this is also something we will see over the coming years more and more. And also for the case of student representation there, we'd work again with other alliances together, with other universities, which we are not necessarily connected to do. So we have our student council, this alliance might have their student council, but then sitting together for one project in a student board, a special student council, and working together without knowing the institutional context, without knowing the background of the individual alliance. For that, ASU can give a really, really good framework and provide a platform to, just connect on a European level with the different alliances, and then also move forward for this or prepare for this cross-alliance collaboration.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, all I'm hearing is a lot of positives. I mean, stronger student voice, cross-alliance collaboration, alumni network. I mean, given the fact that my former predecessor in the role of president is sitting in the audience and I'm standing here, I would say that it's a pretty good indicator that Aurora will have a strong alumni network going forward. So yeah, thank you very much. Now I believe we can move on to the student charter, which has been mentioned a couple of times, but I would like, Mathilde, you to present it. Like, how did it come to you in the first place? And yeah, what is it about actually?
So yes, as Simona mentioned before, we had the idea directly within the ESU conferences because they have presented to us their draft student right charter, and we found that it was a very, very good idea, and we wanted to create one for the Aurora Alliance. We really wanted our student council to work together and also with the ambassadors and everything, and we wanted to act more as a student council than we did before, because during the past year the student council was trying to get structure. We mostly work on strategic plan, on creating documents like the transition procedures or the code of governance, working on those kind of documents, but we gave only a small part of our time to really represent the students and act for them. So this charter for us was the perfect initiatives to bring back this kind of idea and to begin to really act as a representative body for our students. And as Aurora is also more and more known in the student bodies of each university, we wanted also the student council of Aurora to get known by the student within our university, because we are here for them. We are representing them. We are talking on behalf of them on different council and everything. So we really needed to be present and to show everyone that every student that we are acting also as a student council for them and trying to get things improved for student life.
Thank you very much. That sounds wonderful. And it also sounds like a pretty huge undertaking. So what was the creation process like? What went into it? Simon?
Yeah, it all started on a winter day in Olomouc in January. I have to be honest, I chose to put Aurora under my portfolio when I did my student council, mainly because I thought it would be fun, like trips. And they are very fun trips, but they are definitely not vacations. Yeah, in January we had the Aurora Student Council, and we got together with student councillors, but also student ambassadors. And that's when I heard the idea presented by Mathilde that we would work on a student rights charter. I think at first we used the ESU charter as our blueprint, but we also definitely knew that we wanted to make it Aurora coded, as you would say. So we definitely did that. We divided the tasks as well. And that all worked very naturally because we all have experience in participation councils, in representation. So when you get all the heads in the right place, then it's really easy to work together. People naturally shifted to what they were good at. We had people working on like making it into a more legal text. We had people working on putting it in the Aurora style, and then I led one of the creation of one of the 4 parts of the charter, one of the 4 pillars, you would say, on student engagement. I was asked by Mathilde if I wanted to do that, and I'm pretty passionate about it. So then I worked with people from Slovakia, Bulgaria, Austria, and also student ambassadors from Czechia to draft this. And I think it would have been a hard process if it would have started online. But because you meet each other, because you're in a room together, and because you understand each other's passions and drives as well, I thought the process actually went really smoothly. I think we had one meeting, or 1 or 2 online meetings after, to really work out the whole process for our team, and then we sent it in. We had one more global meeting online, but just the fact that we were able to sit in a room together and throw stuff against the wall and really come up with something nice that is applicable to all universities. Basic things and student needs that often do exist and often could be improved in the Aurora community. That is something we really try to make happen, and I think the product speaks to that as well.
Thank you very much. I love the Aurora coded phrase. I see it catching on. I think it should. But I also love to see that you involved the student community and the student ambassadors, that it's always great to see more collaboration between the student council and the student ambassadors, since the student council is there to represent all of the students at our partner universities. So the more you can involve, the merrier, even though it sometimes may seem like it makes the process more complex. It's usually worth it in the end. Simona, I wanted to also ask you for your opinion on this, since you come from an associate partner or partner in Košice. So how was the process for you? Were there any more hiccups you faced along the road? Any additional challenges, or just how was it for you in general?
So for me, I led the group working on internationalization, and it was like a very important topic for us as an associate university as well, because that is really the goal that we are trying to achieve for the university, to improve the student engagement also internationally with other countries, with other partners within European alliances. And basically what struck this was we heard a lot in the ESU conference and also across other students that Erasmus processes might be too bureaucratical. It might be really a hassle for students to travel somewhere, and this is why a lot of people refrain from these mobilities or these opportunities. So our main goal was to make this more accessible, to try and push for universities a little bit to make the credential recognizing process less bureaucratic, maybe more easy. And for us, we are also students that travel a lot, that are involved in these international processes. So we were speaking from first-hand experience, like knowing how these processes can be and how important it is to have support locally, but also from hosting institutions. And for us, we just found out that it really makes a difference when students are not only engaged in the administration process, when it is easy, when there is a specific staff that coordinates these things, but also as people who might host these students and create a warm environment for them to engage them in student processes, like when we have international students coming in, what can we do for them to engage better in the academics, but also in the social life, to get to know the culture better and to engage them maybe in the student politics of the said university. We faced several problems, like at first we didn't really know how to aim it, because mobilities can really vary, like in the duration. It can be really short mobilities, which might make it harder to engage locally. but then the long-term mobilities might offer more space for this. So that's mainly what we focused on. But then again, we come from very different backgrounds, very different practices. So in some universities, they are already very internationally engaged, like for example, Amsterdam, and other countries have like already really good buddy programs and programs to engage international students. But for us, for example, maybe France or Slovakia might not host as many events in English language for the international students to join. So this might be a problem if it's only held in a local language. So these were kind of the things that we tried to look at, how are we approaching these problems, how are we hosting these students, how can we be better hosts, and how can we make it more attractive for students to learn internationally, because we believe it's a really important soft skill in education to also engage with other cultures, and for sure it's one of the Aurora's main principles.
Thank you very much. Now I wonder, since you've been working on this charter for quite some time, and it seems like it's, yeah, like I said, quite a huge undertaking. Mathilde, could you briefly tell me what's the end goal for this? Like for you, when do you say, okay, we're done, like this is the final product, like we've reached our end goal? Like what is the future for this charter?
For now, for us as a student, we do think that the charter is finished. We have worked a lot. We have been reading through it again and again for the past months. And we are currently discussing it within the work package 7 with Niels and Alma and with Ramon also, to try to see how we're gonna manage with the charter and how we're gonna manage to pass it through Aurora Alliance. So the main goal at the end is to have it signed by the General Council, but we do know that it's a long and huge process. So we're gonna first present it to the IC, which has been done a few weeks ago. Then we're gonna present it to the board, and take every feedbacks every time and trying to rewrite it or change also like the former and like legal money of writing within those kind of documents. And the last goal will be at the end to have it signed by the General Council of Aurora. We do know that, and we write it also in the preamble, that this charter is not at all meant to have a mandatory how do you say it? Sorry, impact at the end. It's only an ideal. So we really want it to be seen as a goal to achieve, but in many years, and we will do it step by step within each university with regard of the national issues that are currently arising in each university, and take it step by step by university, trying to improve student rights by taking some of the articles and trying to work on them and oversee how we can do to improve that within local institution, but each institution will not mandatory work on the same article and try to improve student rights in the same way. But we really see it as an ideal and as something that students can relate on if they want after that.
Thank you very much. Just to quickly sum up on this topic, since we have now everyone in the room, could you tell me, and that's an open question for anyone, like what is the current status on this charter? What is like the biggest challenge you're facing, and what would you need from everyone to move on and to reach this end goal? Like what is the next step?
The biggest challenge is, I think, it's the national legislation. We don't have the same national legislation, and we have 10 different countries maybe to deal with. So this was the biggest issues even for us when we were writing the charter, and it will be the biggest issues after for everyone, and the time for every university to reread it, to try to see if we can find if there is some issue or contradictory article with their national legal framework and everything. So this is the biggest issue, as I think everything also in Aurora for creating new things. When you have 10 different legislation to oversee, it's always complex.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So now I would like to move on to the last topic we have for this panel, which is impact. It was discussed a lot yesterday during our morning session. The question of, I believe, like Sabine mentioned, whether we are attracting the usual suspects or how many students at our local universities are actually reaching with all the initiatives that Aurora is doing. So I would like to hear from everyone, how exactly is the Aurora Student Council impacting the students, the average student at your local university at the local level, starting with Sören in the back.
Yeah, thank you. Generally in Denmark, luckily we have a long-standing tradition of student engagement and student participation in important decisions in universities. And this is usually characterized by respect and a collaborative spirit across actors in the university settings, which allows us as the student council to work closely together, or like as the local student representative, to work closely together with the local student unions, who are very well integrated into the local decision-making process, and basically being sure that the student rights on a basic level are being respected and are being taken care of. And you mentioned just the problem of attracting the usual suspects. So I think this is something that we also try to focus on, to really allow students who have not been able to maybe go abroad or have other international experiences to really engage here in Aurora, in the Aurora setting. And also from the perspective of CBS, we are, a business school, so the Alliance offers a wide range of new perspectives to a lot of students. And this can be really enriching, and the Student Council is there to help and facilitate this process, to really work together with the students and being a point of contact in case of any problems, in case of any challenges, and also working together operationally with the Aurora team, making sure that the processes run smoothly.
Thank you very much. Maybe just a quick follow-up. What is the biggest challenge in that currently at your local university in reaching and trying to make a bigger impact?
I think it's one point is that Aurora is very small, so to say. So we do not attract for a long period of time a lot of students in comparison to, let's say, Erasmus. So Erasmus works a lot through word of mouth, and everyone just want to go because they heard someone had a great experience. Whereas with Aurora and Aurora courses, we really had to build up this reputation, and I think we're getting there slowly, but also we had COVID, so it kind of was a setback for all the international experiences that were possible for students. But we are seeing an increase. We are seeing an increase in interest. We're seeing a better recognition of Aurora throughout the campus, throughout nationalities, throughout degree levels, so bachelor, master students, etc., and throughout study programs. And this is really great, I think, but it's still a challenge to work on, and especially attract also programs and people from the local area who study maybe also in Danish. So we have a lot of English programs, but also a lot of Danish students studying Danish programs, and attracting them and making them interested in joining Aurora opportunities is, I think, something that we're actively working on.
Thank you very much. Simona?
So obviously I will talk from the perspective of an associated university, and one of the biggest challenges that we face is that we do not receive funding. But despite that, I think it's like really inspiring, and maybe even for other universities involved, like how determined and motivated we are to be a part of the collaboration on this European level, and how amazing it is that my institution is able to set apart their own money to be a part of this. And it just really shows like the determination and the hard work behind it, because we really have to work maybe a few times harder than the other ones to receive funding and to be a part of these conversations and to be a part of these discussions. So for me, I'm just like really proud of the work we have done. And I'm also very happy to say I am supported as a student representative. We were able to also organize the workshop on a local level with the collaboration with UPEC and VU Amsterdam, which reached a lot of local students, which again was a huge initiative for us to make Aurora more attractive on our institutional level. And also we are now going to be trying to get more student ambassadors within our institution. Some of them are also international students, and some of them also represent us locally in the student council. So we're really looking forward to this impact. But I also wanted to speak a little bit again about the Students' Rights Charter and like what really will be the impact of this document. I think sometimes there might be a misunderstanding that this document is trying to impose something on the universities or on the institutions, but in reality it's supposed to be a new guide for us. It's an ideal for us to look forward to, and it's something that we as students created to unite our ideas of how we want Aurora to look like in the future, and what we want from Aurora, and how we want our universities to thrive within Aurora, and what we need from this alliance. So really, it's just a common understanding of what the Student Council sees for the future of Aurora, and it's not meant to interfere with any legal or national legislation, and that's also how we try to write it in a really it's just a suggestion or a recommendation for the universities to hear our student voices. So I'm really looking forward to getting the document signed, and for the universities to try and work with students on achieving this goal.
Very important distinction. Thank you very much. Mathilde?
Yes, I will go back to the link between the IEC and the local council. Within the IEC, it has always been a subject. What are the link between us and our local council at each university level, within each university? And the thing is, we have very, very different link depending on which university we are representative. For example, some of the university, the student representative that are within the Aurora Student Council are taking directly from the local student council or from the student elected locally there. And in some other university, the students are appointed or you can run for the position, which gave them like a less impact on the student bodies, and because they not have been elected by student voices, and they don't have the legitimacy of having students voted for them, and students believing in what they are gonna try to improve within the university and everything. So this is a big subject within the council, and I think we're gonna keep continuing working on this next year with the next student council, because for me we really need to have a closer link with every local student council within university. This is the way also of making Aurora more known by everyone and by students. We have seen that in UPEC. We had currently 1 month ago a student election, and this was the first time where within student programs for running for position, we have seen some lines about Aurora and what are the goals of this student union if they were elected for the Aurora alliances. And I really think that it is important to put Aurora now as everyday life for like the politics, to talk of it, to have students having position, having political position, and wanting to do something, because this is what we are as a student council. We need to have some directive. We need to have like some direction where we want to go. We need to really act more as a council and as representative for the student voices, for the needs of the student, the interest of the students. So yeah, this is what I wanted to say.
Thank you very much. Simon.
Could you just repeat the question one more time so I know
Yes,
I could answer it completely?
Of course. So my question was about the connection between the Aurora Student Council and the local students, the local study boards, the local students. Like, how much of an impact does Aurora make on the average student at VU? Are we like just attracting the usual suspects, or are we actually reaching the average student population? That's kind of like a sub-question hidden within that.
Are you calling me a usual suspect?
Never.
It's a good question. Also a moment for every one of us to reflect. Is the research that we are doing, is it really making an impact at our universities? It's a question not just for students, but of course also for everyone here. And if I can answer it from a VU perspective, what I've noticed is that Aurora very much functions as a funnel. I can exemplify this with, or illustrate it with 2 ambassadors that we have taken to our Olomouc trip. I had not known them before, but we met at a lunch or get-together that was organized by the International Office of VU and the Aurora office. And one of our ambassadors had actually never been on a trip outside the Netherlands before. She was a bit nervous the days before, and we asked her, Morgan and me, we asked her how come, and she had never really been on a plane. So that really puts things into perspective, because we, of course, we like to think that we look beyond borders, but it's easier for some people. That's easily said, and for other people, that a border really is can be a hurdle to cross as well. But she really enjoyed her trip to Olomouc. And the other ambassador that we took is actually involved in student representation now for next year. So he has an elected position. So that's one of the ways that I think Aurora and ASC also affects students at the VU level. The other one is the research that is conducted here. As you know, we are all engaged universities, and the research that is conducted here by you also really affects students, as it should. For example, at the info market I was at, I came across an initiative at VU, the Rebuilding Education course, and if there's one thing I learned from my council and from working at a university or at an institution like this, is that you can never really know what's going on. When you think you figured everything out, it's really just the tip of the iceberg. But then, I came across this endeavor, and it really put everything that I had been trying to work on at the national level in terms of the quality of education and innovation and co-creation is a word that we love to use at the VU. But how do you give weight to co-creation? And it was the first time that I really saw that, and also the things that we had conceptualized and put in our policy plan at the VU council level was basically already worked out there and had been given recognition. So a trip like this has offered me the opportunity to discuss that not only with the researchers but also with the president of VU, who's also there. So just to get together with the three of us at UPEC to discuss that is really nice. And also the work packages and the task forces. At the end, we are all researchers because we want to educate and we want to really add some value to society as well. And who do we educate? It's the students. So I think it also always comes back to the students. And yeah, to have the students involved here, also students who would normally not be at the table, I think it's part of what makes Aurora a special community.
And on that positive note, thank you very much. Those were all the questions I had for you today. But now I would like to give the floor to the lovely audience we have here. I believe we have an extra mic right next to Sören.
Yes.
So if I could... Yes.
No, I will just add one example that came to my mind for also like pushing the fact that the ASC and local student unions should have more link and be more closer. For example, within the ASC, we have been asked by the VRE team to have some feedbacks from students on what do they want for Aurora, what do they expect from Aurora, what are the needs and everything. And if we didn't have this linked with some local union, it would have been harder for us to reach our students, because if we don't have any link between the representative at the European level, at the European university level, and at the local level, we cannot reach anyone. For example, us, we passed this survey through our local union, and they have published it on like their social media, and they have way more impact on the UPEC student community than we have just Andrea and I as just two representatives. So without this link, we could not have feedbacks, and we could not make or advise or say what are the student needs, the current student need of our university. So it's really important, and I wanted to emphasize this by this example to make it a bit maybe clearer for everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. What I'm really getting from this is that to create a bigger impact, the local connections are simply necessary. It's not optional. Thank you very much. So we have an extra mic, and we have a lovely assistant here. So if anyone from the audience has any questions for our panelists, now is your chance.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Thank you for this. This is really inspiring, and I want to use this opportunity to run some suggestions for student engagement by you, because I feel like maybe I have the older perspective, and I want to know really what students are thinking and ways of attracting students to Aurora courses. One is inspired by Hannes's wonderful facilitation, by the way. It's you're a real midfield playmaker, passing the ball back and forth, and also by an idea from Emilie Franquiel, who was here before in the morning session. She talked about facilitator training for democratic assemblies, and that could be applied to other areas. I'm wondering, would that be an idea that would be attractive for students? Or going back to what Simon and Simona were saying about international kind of teamwork and learning experiences, would that be something that would be attractive or not? Or what else should we be emphasizing to get more student engagement?
So thank you for that question and suggestion. I mean, as Aurora, we tend to organize quite a lot of workshops. So I would say like people who are interested in becoming better facilitators and maybe interested in politics or even student politics and things regarding these topics. I honestly think like it would be very attractive for students already involved in Aurora, and like having trained facilitators for this reason really could help us attract more people who are not yet engaged. and they could be great leaders for the next generation of students that could join Aurora. So honestly, I think it would be very valuable to focus on facilitating training.
What I would add to that is very plain to say we have to reduce the downsides and make the upsides more attractive. Meaning downsides in the sense, if you go to an Aurora course and you expect your ECTS to be recognized, then this process should run smoothly and should be taken care of and shouldn't be kind of very difficult to get, as well as mobility, funding, etc. There should be processes in place, and it shouldn't be very difficult to get the funding, and you should be sure that there is no problem with it. On the upside, as you mentioned, Simona, like having really deep integration and knowledge on the local level with how to interact with students, as well as just offering attractive opportunities in terms of courses, in terms of peers, in terms of environment. I think this can be really helpful to increase student engagement.
And if I may add also on maybe more for the ambassador part, if we have to talk of that, one thing that could attract more ambassadors is trying to make Aurora easier to understand for them, because it's hard to attract some students when everything it's kind of complex to explain. So we were thinking of doing something very easy for ambassador to understand, like a handbook of the different work packages that we have in Aurora, and if they want to take part in group discussion within these work packages and everything, they know before what will be their task asked at the end by the work packages, what will they have to do, what is the work packages about, what they can add some input as students, because work packages are working on the same group for like a long time, and students, most of the time, even more the ambassadors or the student representative, there is like a high turnover. They are turning every year, but we still need to have some students within each work packages. So one of the easiest solution would be to have like a handbook with keeping the track of what the work packages and the task team did before, and having some very special and preset goals for students. It will be easier for both ways. For the work packages, they will know what students could bring there and had as input for them, and for the student, they will know what they will have to do at the end. So this is something that we can work on with Niels in the work package 7, and yeah.
What I think maybe is something that is holding us back is that we're all a bit too humble. I mean, if a course is given by Aurora, maybe it should be specified more. Also, the grants that you are able to receive, to have it more explicitly stated in the course guides and the materials at our local universities. It's maybe minor, but just add a little extra, like Aurora Star, I don't know, something like that. And also what I would say is to maybe encourage students to, like, once we have these ambassadors, I know that at VU we have quite a substantial pool already, but then how do we activate them? How do we make sure that, for example, they can formulate their personal learning goals? And how can they grow as an engaged student, not just at the Aurora level, but also at the national level or at the university specific level?
So just one more thing, what I think is a really innovative way to engage students in the council, and basically is going to be in effect for the next council, is the new HR position that we created. So this in a way is also a way to facilitate new students and to try to make the turnover process less difficult for them. And the goal is to have a specific person who would be well versed into Aurora problems, challenges, initiatives, and goals. So we are in a way kind of already doing this. So honestly, to have a specific training for that, even from maybe administrative staff from Aurora, or having a better connection to other levels in Aurora would be beneficial.
Maybe adding one more little thing, tying it back to the ESU discussion from the beginning. So what we have seen so far, how student engagement in Aurora is possible in the sense of normal students, so to say, so no students that are maybe not engaged in the council, was mostly through courses, academic courses, and also the ambassador program now. Now we see with the Aurora Open in Innsbruck a new way how to engage students in a completely different dimension. And when we were at the ESU conference, we were also talking obviously to other alliances, and they have a lot of different ways to engage students, and I think this can be a great inspiration. Something like student projects, where students from different universities work on specific projects, be it research projects, be it other projects, community projects. Since this is a long shot, you need funding for that, etc. I think this is something to keep in mind for also the next possible funding round, and to have like this in mind for the discussion. But this can be a great way to really widen the base, how engagement for students is possible in the Alliance.
Thank you very much. I loved all the innovations and ideas. I'm glad we have VP7 so strongly represented in the room. And I know we have more questions. I saw more hands before. So any more questions for our students?
Yes. First of all, I want to thank the Student Council for the massive work with the Students' Rights Charter, which I mean, we've been discussing from Work Package 7 with the Student Council quite a bit recently as well, and we're sure that that will be a great kind of backbone of how we will approach student inclusion and kind of the rights of our students within Aurora activities for the years to come. I did also want to connect a little bit to the bringing together and kind of community building aspects that I think the Aurora Student Council, the Aurora Student Ambassador program will have a key role in developing. I think with the feedback that we've had from the Student Ambassador program so far is that quite often we float around a lot of information expecting that to be consumed in a sort of passive way by like, okay, here is a report to read, here is an online information session to join. And I think the feedback that we've been receiving increasingly is that what a lot of the students want is in fact more real-life interaction, more real-life community building, and that puts a little bit more of an emphasis on all of the participating universities to facilitate such community building, to make sure that your student council representatives have the means and a space to, for example, meet with student ambassadors, and to make sure that all of these students are included in whatever Aurora-related local initiatives you have. And I think that if we manage to do that, because the universities that have been doing that, I think there has been great feedback on that locally. And I think if we keep in mind to do more of that, I think that's a great way forward to really accelerate all of these great initiatives that we've been talking about. So yeah, I wanted to share that and thank the Student Council again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for giving me a word. I would like to say that, as Mathilde said, thank you for that. It was exactly what I had on my mind. I will maybe also from my point of view as a student ambassador, just underline that those brochures or guidelines, let's say, will be really helpful. And I think it will also enhance and support the participation of students in general to entrance Aurora, to work more, I mean, like meaningfully and participate more in there will be less of chaos. something like guidelines will be really supportive also for those who are working on some projects, because we actually have no directly set the times to where supposed to be something done in some like main points, like a bullet points, let's say, or the red spine, we can call it. I think it will be really supportive for us, and it will also like uplifting and supporting the quality of the work. That's from my point of view, and I thank you so much for your work.
Thank you very much. On a note of brochure, I want to say big congrats to UPEC for the conference magazine, because it looks amazing. And do we have any more questions from the audience? Yes.
Hi. Okay, so I'm a student ambassador for the University of Iceland, and an Aurora ambassador, sorry. And I can say that I think it's very clear to me the role of this, like Aurora ambassadors who are part of the student council, but not very much the ones who are not part of the student council. So I think like the way that we were instructed, it was like to work on a work package that was like of our interest, and that's completely fine. But then the projects themselves were not super clear. So I think the sense of vision of the other student ambassadors is not so clear. And then maybe if you can take that into consideration for the future, I think maybe that like what the students can take from Aurora and what Aurora can take from students, then maybe that's a little bit clearer. Yeah, it's just a suggestion.
Yeah. It's an interesting point that you mentioned, because in the work packages or in a task forces, of course, it's we get a lot of researchers together. It's very specific. Yeah, when I came into one yesterday and I heard the words, yeah, this is what we will present to the European Commission, I started sitting a bit straighter as well. Yeah, students, they don't necessarily have like intensive research experience on one specific subject, but they know how this research comes into practice and how it affects the wider community, how it is taught as well, and how it can be evaluated. So I do agree that there's maybe more of a role for students not in this in this imaging or in the in this implementation process, but I mean, in the end, you have a product, and how is that product received? I think that should be more of a focus for students. And maybe that is something to consider for the coming years. Yeah, because in the end, what does set Aurora apart, especially also from other European alliances, is the fact that we have students at the table. Yeah, maybe sometimes just at the wrong table. Yeah, that's my perspective.
Thank you, Simon, and thank you for the feedback. Do we have any more questions from the audience? Yes, Veronica up front.
Thank you. More a comment than a question. Thanks for sitting so straight. Thanks for all your efforts, for your enthusiasm, and for your energy. I feel it irradiating. And I would also like to express an invitation, whoever from the Aurora student community who will be in Innsbruck this June, we will be very happy to welcome you at our University of Innsbruck summer party, which is always big fun. So maybe this is another teaser for you to join us in Innsbruck. And also thank you for being part of the Peace Festival, strong expression, peace course. In February in Innsbruck, we are very happy that you are there. We are very happy that you are so full of energy. Thank you so much. Please come to Innsbruck. Please join us at the summer party, and hope to see more of you.
Thank you very much, Veronica. I don't think you can say no to that. So, on that note,
Can I respond?
Yes, of course.
Thank you for the invitation. That's not all I wanted to say. I do think you touched on something important, and that is also sometimes the energy that students bring. I do think that it's also necessary because we talk a lot about living in an unstable world. And because of that, it can be very hard for university legislators to move in this context. So in that sense, I do think it's also important to listen to students when they do say that some things need to be addressed and address these currents in society, because it's hard to make decisions for these people that are really in power, because you have a lot of responsibilities. At the same time, if decisions need to be made, it often comes from bottom up and from real student movements. So thank you for taking students so seriously. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, we have questions.
Well, it's another invitation. Hi, I'm Zora, the project manager of Work Package 2, Transdisciplinary, Research-Driven Educational Hubs. And whether you're a student ambassador, part of the Student Council, an Aurora student in general, we want your voices. You're more than welcome to attend our Work Package meetings. You're more than welcome to give feedback to the courses or the potential micro-credentials that we create. So we want you, if there's any student in here, out there, please get in touch with me. Your voice matters and we want to work with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If I may comment on that, I think this comment shows how far on the one hand we have come with student integration in research. I remember vividly in the November of 2023 when we met for the kickoff of Aurora 2030 in Iceland, that it was a big point of discussion to integrate students more in the research in the next project of Aurora 2030. And through the last 1.5 years, we have tried a lot and tried a lot of things in a lot of ways, had a lot of varieties of student engagement. And I just want to acknowledge and I appreciate the persistence of student interest in student engagement within research. And I do hope that a lot of students are interested in joining research, be it Work Package 2, be it other work packages. But as you said, it is very important that the student voice is heard within the research community and within what Aurora researches.
Thank you, and thank you very much. I second that wholeheartedly. It's amazing to see how far we've come as a community from where we started. But we still have time for a few questions, if there are any.
All right, thank you so much for this opportunity. I think the Aurora Ambassador Program is a very good one, and it's as a result of that I'm here. I just want to find out that, I know you've spoken a lot about it, but I just want to know whether there is any other program that will, that Aurora and then the Student Council would come up with that will enable the inclusion of international students, or maybe extending the program to other places, not just within the catchment area you have right now.
I think you're touching on a good question here and on a good point, what we had before. So one way that we expand student engagement is, as we have now in Innsbruck in 1 month, the Aurora Open. This is a new way to engage students beyond just academics, but it is very important to increase and student engagement across the dimensions. And as I mentioned earlier, like other alliances have, for example, student projects across universities that are not necessarily integrated into a framework of an ambassador program or an academic course. So this is something we will also be looking into in the future. That being said, it is always a very long shot to create new formats, since a lot of actors are involved, and you need to find, a lot of this. You need to have a lot of discourses and find a lot of compromises. But it is definitely something the student community and the student council is taking with us to basically increase and work on that in the future.
Yeah, and for the engagement of international students, this was the theme of the year. Just to explain, each year the Student Council has a theme. Last year it was diversity, inclusivity. This year it was the engagement of international students within our university. And we are trying as a council to mix what everyone is doing in his own university, to have like a multi-dimensional, multicultural view on this issue. And what we come up with for the engagement of the international student is a little PDF of like 3-4 pages where we're gonna explain how, in our view, with very basic action, we can improve and enhance this engagement by creating, for example, a buddy program within a student association, or by giving some very simple advice, as not every student association or student union are translating their event poster, for example, in English. They are only writing them in their national language. This could be like also the very basic action, but that can change the engagement of international students in the future.
Yeah. We were actually working on this, what was it, Monday? It was the first time that we got together again in a group in a space here at UPEC, and started just imaging or like mapping how international students are received and the support that they get at each university. And I think, how many hours did we spend on it in total? Like 1.5 maybe? But it was already like super fruitful, I think. Just to know and learn from each other in the first place. And then also see how other things could be improved. Is it better for international students, if they are received, to first have the opportunity to get together with other international students? Is it better for them to start learning the language of choice? What do the international students want themselves? And also, with the buddy program, is it better to have 2 mentors for a bigger group of students, or is it better to have a one-on-one approach? These are all things that we have touched on in that short but productive meeting, and more to come.
Thank you very much. I will be taking one last question, comment, invitation, inquiry. If there is none, then I will offer my panelists a chance for brief concluding remarks, if they have any. And then I do understand the importance of lunch, so then we can wrap it up.
It will not be a remark especially, but just I wanted to thank the Aurora Alliance for also like the space that they give us as a student to talk, to be there in every meeting, to express our point of view. We really feel that the Alliance is listening to us. We can always improve, we can always do better, and that there has some stuff that we need to work on to even like increase this student place and this student voice. But from what we've seen since the beginning and since the kickoff also in Reykjavik in November last year, yeah, it's really a pleasure to have this space and to feel listened, to feel that our voice are really important, and to express what we want, and to be able to act as students, even with the ambassador program and everything. So thank you all for letting us having this space. Thank you.
I will also keep my comment very short. I know that probably a lot of you are hungry, so I hope we can go to lunch soon. But I can just second what Mathilde said. I think it is really great to see so many people interested in student engagement here, that we have quite a full room today, and so many people actively listening. And I want to encourage a lot of you, if you have any questions, if you have any interest in student engagement, in what students think, just talk to other people. Here are so many students from different backgrounds, from different countries, and I think especially this conference right now is a unique opportunity to connect on levels that would be maybe online or via email, etc., not possible. So, and just sometimes getting another perspective can really change a discussion, can change a discourse, can change a decision where it's going. Just having this opportunity here, I just want to encourage everyone to take this and yeah, try it out, talk to people, and go in a discourse with one and each other.
Yeah, to add to that quickly, I would also encourage you to keep this curiosity when you go back to your home universities. What I think, what has really pleasantly surprised me about the Aurora community in general, but this week in specific, is that students, like us as students, we are really taken seriously, maybe more than we would be at our home universities. Because as a student, you're an adult, of course, but you have a different perspective, and because of that, it's easy to maybe not engage or see education as more of a one-way street, when we could really, really learn from each other. So yeah, thank you for treating us with sincerity, and yeah, let that be a product for more. Yeah. I'm also hungry.
Yeah, so very few words for the end. I would want to thank everyone present here and also from the council for a very productive year. And I'm just really looking forward to continuing this work, continuing on this high energy and motivation. And I would just encourage everyone to be very open to new ideas, to enjoy these days in Paris, and just to listen to each other and feed off of each other's ideas. And I'm really looking forward to further collaboration.
Thank you. Thank you to my lovely panelists. Thank you to you in the audience. You have been great. And I second everything that's been said. And I just believe that I can speak for everyone when I say that please talk to the students. They'll want to hear from you. And now it's lunchtime. So let's go enjoy lunch.